Hi everyone and welcome back to another episode of Beats and Bobbins. My name is Evan Roth. This is your channel where we're diving into DJing tutorials and sewing DIY projects. Professionally, I'm a visual artist. Actually, a couple weeks ago, I had some work open at a really beautiful group exhibition called Deep Fields at the Central Wallonia Brussels in Paris. So if you happen to be in Paris between now and the end of March, please check out this show. But this channel is a place where we're diving into things I'm doing here in the studio after hours, things I'm doing for fun. And lately, that's been about software. Last episode, I released a piece of free software called Screen Sampler. It's basically designed as a VJ tool where you can sample different sections of your screen from different applications and then map those to 3D and 2D shapes on screen. The original idea was to sample the waveforms from DJ software to produce real-time reactive audio visuals, but I think it could be used in a lot of other ways as well. So after releasing Screen Sampler 1.0 a couple of weeks ago, a lot of you chimed into the comments with really great feedback, good ideas, suggestions for fixes and features. So first of all, just thank you for that. I spent a good chunk of my downtime these last couple of weeks implementing those features. And so today's episode is going to be about Screen Sampler 1.9. It's not quite 2.0, but it's way more than 1.1. There's a lot of really fun new features in here I'm excited to show you. So I'm going to do a short demo here so you can see what Screen Sampler version 1.9 looks like in action. What I've got set up here is a Traktor S3, which is kind of like double MIDI mapped. I made one MIDI mapping that's using it to control Djay Pro software, and then a second MIDI mapping that's controlling Screen Sampler. So single button presses are going both those two directions. In an effort to avoid triggering any copyright claims here on YouTube, I'm going to be playing most of my own music on deck 2. I make music under the name Rotary Farm, so these are some songs I've been working on at the moment. On deck 1, you're going to be hearing vocal stems from other songs. So I'll play this demo, and then after that, in the second half of the video, I'll go through the bulleted list of different items that are updates to Screen Sampler. So here we go.
West side of Atlanta. West side of Atlanta, yeah, that's where I'm from. Outside, our hands on like a glove.
This or that, 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 this or that.
Come on, who's the black sheep? What's the black sheep? Know not who I am or when I'm coming, so you sleep. Wasn't in my realm or wasn't in your sphere. Knew not who I was, but listen here. Press the OES, yes, I guess I can start. If it's alright with you, I'll rip this head one apart. Back middle to the front, don't front. Want a good time, wanna give you what you want. Can I hear a hey? You get it up? You got a hat? Just for the house. The styling is creative, black sheep of the native. Can be violated or even decepticated. I got brothers in the jungle, cousins on the west. Territory and uncles and deep waters where they rest.
That you sent through me, I get high, 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 I get high on your memory, on your memory, on your memory. I get high, 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 high.
It's up in this bitch, coming at no. It's about $1. It's up in this bitch, coming at no. It's about $1. It's up in this. It's about $1. It's up in this bitch, coming at no. It's about $1. Cause I'm about $1. the couch, put the fucker. This man is the trafficker. Can't walk on my shooter. Don't make me down Richie, woo up, I know they would do ya. Don't you mind the chopper?
I'm a down a rapper. Got KJ covered, make ID, couch.
The first really big update was to the 3D section. So now, in addition to the 3D shapes included in the 1.0 version, there's also this external 3D models section, which can load in more complicated 3D models. There's currently, I think, 29 or 30 in this list, but I plan on updating it more in the future. There's also an ability for you to upload your own 3D models directly into this custom 3D models section. So it can load in .obj and .glb files. So any system, any 3D software that you're using that can export those file formats, you can now import those into Screen Sampler. There's also now a system for favoriting these different 3D shapes so that you can go through, identify the ones that you want to be using with your setup, and then have quicker access to using them and integrating them within the software. One of the new features I'm most excited about, and this came straight from the comments, is for MIDI support. So now in Screen Sampler, you can connect any MIDI controller via USB, and you can use that to start triggering things that are happening on screen. So you could switch between different regions, you could change the different 3D models that are on screen, you could affect their rotation and scale. And where I think this gets really exciting is that you can also just plug in the controller that you're using to DJ with to the software, so that this happens sort of passively, or it happens as a result of you just naturally DJing without you having to think about using the software. So you could, for example, map the model rotation to the jog wheels, or the auto rotate to the play button. You could do scale to the up faders. Hot cues can sort of affect scale. You could change the model when you're clicking load a new track. And then you can forget about the visual software altogether and just concentrating on DJing while all this stuff is sort of happening on screen around you. A lot of you are asking for an offline version of the software so that you could use it in situations where there's no Wi-Fi or connectivity. That now exists. I know several of you are asking for iOS support, and I looked into this, and as far as I can tell, iOS doesn't give you access to the screen capture command that I would need to be running the primary parts of the software. So unfortunately, this is one I couldn't get working. I promise I looked into it. You still can plug in your iPhone to your laptop, and Screen Sampler can sample sections of your iPhone screen, but you'll need to be running it through your laptop. If you're running on Android, I think if you're using a Chromium-based browser on Android, it should still work on Android. Camera input is now built in, so rather than having to sample a camera that's running on a feed on screen, you can now just select any connected camera and bring it in directly. I also made some updates to the way that the site remembers data and can save some of the settings. One section is called lock states, where you can trigger different visual settings and bring them in and out again. This is one thing I was doing in the demo video. There's also this export and import settings where you can save all the data out to an external file and then reload it back in on another session another day. There's now a randomized gradient background button that sounds like a really small update, but it's super satisfying. Also MIDI mappable. And there's also just more general control over how 3D objects are moving in space and how they rotate either together globally or on their own individual axes. And then one last update I wanted to draw your attention to was this shiny new support button. So, okay, I'm doing all this for fun. I'm going to keep everything in here free. I'm going to keep everything open source because on some fundamental level, I do feel that there's a power in openness and in sharing. But if you find yourself loving this software, if you're using it a lot, if you've enjoyed the free MIDI mapping tutorials or the sewing templates and tutorials, please consider making a small donation. It really goes a long way to allowing me more time in here to make videos like this. So that's Screen Sampler version 1.9. If you end up using it for anything, please send me links. I'd love to see what you're doing with it. If you've got ideas for how to improve it, please leave those in the comments below. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. I'll be back with another episode of Beats and Bobbins soon.